Hey, what's up everyone? Welcome back. This week I'm going to be taking a look at two new whitewater kayak paddles from Werner, the Surge and the Strike. Just before we start this video though, I want to make it clear that I'm not supported by Werner. They're not paying for this video. I pay for all my paddles. I just happen to be able to borrow these two from the importer to make this video, but they are not sponsoring this video, so just want to make that clear before we get going. This is just kind of what I think about it, some first looks and some first impressions. Okay, so earlier this year, Werner announced two new paddles, the Surge and the Strike. The Surge is the bigger one, the Strike is the smaller one. When I first saw a picture of it, I thought it just pretty much looked like a fiberglass version of the Odachi paddle, which is like their race paddle. On closer inspection, it does look a decent bit different. The blade shape is quite different in the leading edge here, which gives it like a more asymmetric shape, which is meant to make it better. So you can use it at a lower angle. It doesn't have to be at the like upright angle the whole time. The main reason I thought it kind of looked very similar was because it has that like feathered curve, which is meant to make it, you get a greater reach out of every stroke, which is sweet for going forwards and for boofing and stuff. I haven't actually tried this one yet, so I'm going to hopefully try it later today and we'll find out if it does actually make a difference or not. But I wanted to show it lined up and kind of compared to the paddles that I do use all the time. So this is the Surge, which is like the bigger size one, the one I'm going to try out later on, compared to the paddle I normally use here in Canada, my ShoGun. As you can see, my hand goes about, I don't know, edge to edge. We're talking like thumb tip to like halfway through my little finger. And the Surge goes a tiny bit wider, like thumb tip to probably like halfway through my little finger. And then the paddle I used in Ecuador this year, the Powerhouse, again, like similar test. My hand goes about thumb to midway through my little finger. So pretty similar size to those two paddles. I've been using these two I've had this ShoGun for a couple of years. I've just had this Powerhouse for a bit. Honestly, like I had a Powerhouse in like 2013 and I was like, oh yeah, it's a pretty good paddle, whatever. Used a bunch of other paddles. Coming back to it this year, I really do think the Powerhouse is like currently the best value for money whitewater kayak paddle on the market. It's strong, it's light, it's durable, it's kind of easy to use. So what I really want to know from this video is like if the Surge is going to replace the Powerhouse for me as like a really good mid-range whitewater kayak paddle. So let's talk about construction for a little bit. Obviously, my Powerhouse is like the carbon one, which is the slightly better one. Gives you a bit less flex and a bit more power. The ShoGun is like the foam core range, so the paddle pops out of the water a little bit nicer, a little bit easier. It kind of floats to the surface, which is nice on bigger volume, but I've always found it just doesn't quite like grip the water as much as I like, and the Powerhouse does a lot better kind of gripping the water. I'm not sure the exact science term for that, but I mean, I like them both for sure. The ShoGun, obviously that foam core construction, like I was just talking about, slightly different back face. We'll talk about that a bit more in a minute. The Surge and the Strike's like the smaller size one, are like the fiberglass construction, so a tiny bit heavier, not very much, according to the Werner website. So that fiberglass construction, super strong, fairly rigid. It does have a bit more flex than both of these two paddles are gonna have, but I'm curious to know if it will be significantly different or not. On the back face, they've changed the back, like the rib that kind of gives the paddle structure. On the Powerhouse, you can see it's like super pronounced and like quite aggressive, and they've really worked hard, I think, to smooth out this back part on the Surge and on the Strike. That should make it a little bit nicer to feather back up for your next stroke. Obviously the spin test, spin's okay, but will it blend? I'm also not sure like how critical that, or how much extra gain that curve is going to get you, but only one way to find out really. So I'm going to take this guy and see if I can find someone to use this one and go find out. So yeah, let's go kayaking. Okay, this is gonna be first impressions. Werner Surge paddle. Right here at the put in of the Ottawa River. A lot of ice, a lot of snow. I don't know if you can see behind me, but pretty hectic out there. Feels good so far. I don't know. Seems to grip the water pretty nicely. It's about the amount of power I'd expect from fiberglass. Definitely pretty comparable to a carbon paddle, but not quite as stiff in that like catch release. Nice. Feels pretty good in the boots. Definitely nice and powerful. What I expect from this size of blade. Let's go through some waves, see how that looks. I thought it was going to be with a smoother back, but yes, it's pretty good. That's nice. Right there. Yeah, new paddle seems pretty decent. Definitely, I like the way it grips the water. I'm not sure that it's like crazy much more powerful than my Powerhouse and my ShoGun are. It definitely feels pretty nice in the water. Got a pretty nice release, pretty nice catch. Yeah, overall seems like a pretty solid paddle for the money. Will I be rushing out to buy one right now? Probably not. Like, I've got two perfectly good paddles at the moment, so I'm good. Will I think about this in the future to replace one of my paddles? Strong maybe, I would say. Strong maybe. Nothing's definite though. Alright, so there you go, that's first impressions. Werner Surge. I guess it's the same for the strike, just smaller, but all about that big paddle life. Alright, I'll catch you guys next week.